Hey everyone, and welcome back to another Etheria restart video. So in today's video, guys, the patch is out. So there's a couple things already implemented in the game so far based on what we saw. They got the arena PvP loadouts where you can kind of turn these on. And I think this ends up applying. I don't know how this interacts with like switching gear and stuff like that. I think what this is just like you have a loadout for your characters. It's on. If you flick this on, and if it's off, they have the current gear that they're playing on PvE. I think that's how that works. I haven't looked too much into it. The new characters are in the game, and man, I mean, this character, like the attack is very high, the HP is solid, the defense is solid, the damage multipliers are good. This this hero is going to be absolutely nuts. This is true power creep here. Um, I don't see how this character can be bad. She does have the immune to control without any lattices. She gets the immunity to the turn meter pushback if her level 5 is fully skilled up. And that might be relevant or it might be not. We'll see. I've also tested Chloros. So I do have him kind of skilled up. So they rechanged his skill 3 a little bit. It does hit a little bit harder, which is cool, and it ramps up quicker. I actually want to test him in PvP, to be honest. And Holden, like, I don't know why they buffed this character. I think he's going to end up being an issue, to be honest. And then the new SR, I'm a little iffy on. I think some people are really excited for this character. I've been wrong multiple times, where I've missed on characters for sure. I don't see the appeal in it other than, again, maybe like some interestingly tuned teams to do, uh, you know, uh, quick runs. But today's video, I wanted to talk about some characters that I think are going to go up in value for sure in this next upcoming arena, uh, season because of the nerf to Revelation, right? I actually didn't even check that. Do they have that little effect in here? Yeah, the Ether Arena effect. Okay, so cool. Yeah, they got that in there. So because of this reduced damage, I still think Revelation is going to be a thing, but I, like the rest of the community, think that the bruiser kind of meta is going to be there. So I wanted to call out a couple heroes that I think are going to be extremely important to build on your account if you have them. We still don't know how the meta is going to kind of play itself out with shells because up until the Revelation nerf, Lighthouse and Bloodbath was very, very important. I think a lot of people are expecting Bloodbath still to be used, but without the ability to proc Lighthouse as often with Revelation, I don't know if that shell will decrease in its use. But anyway, we'll have to see how that plays out. But the overarching theme of these characters are they have a very unique debuff, and what that debuff is heal block, or wound, as they call it in this game. So I want to start at the bottom because number 41 also did get a buff. She got an increase to a turn meter boost, which is good. She's always had a very big heal, and she has wound on her skill 1. Now, I think this character is quite solid against the bruiser meta as a more free to play option. She's extremely easy to build. The 35% chance is not bad. The thing is she's very easy to build, right? Ideally, in a bruiser kind of capacity or a bruiser meta, you don't need to build her extremely fast. You can have her around a 260 to 270 speed, maybe even 280, which is very easy because that's all you're really looking for, along with some HP. So you have some room to build a little bit of effect accuracy on your team. The reason why Wound, I think, ends up becoming so good is because that a lot of these kind of bruiser comps really rely on heroes like Ling Lo, Sonya. I think Mia might get a little bit more play now too. Um, so uh, I think the wound to turn off those characters as well as Lighthouse, like if you're able to land a wound beforehand and then do some big damage to just throw off the Lighthouse heal, I think this is going to be a big thing. So, number 41 is one of those characters. Another one of the characters that has already been rising up the ranks, and she got a buff again for some reason, like similar to Holden, where I didn't think she needed one, was Mizuki Makoto. Uh, this character, I can't wait to build this character. I think she's next on the list. Very high damage multiplier. They increased this damage multiplier as well as dispelling. Like this is a great kit. And when she counterattacks with her passive effect on retaliation, she ends up applying the wound. This is a 100% chance as well. So you don't need as much effect accuracy as one would think when it comes to applying that wound. You probably need somewhere around like 80 to 100 percent effect accuracy. And she's a fantastic counter to someone like Tiamat, who I think is going to be very, very prevalent in the upcoming meta. So the fact that she has a whole bunch of things on her kit, the fact that she's a bruiser means that Tiamat is going to have a hard time kind of, dealing with her. Where Tiamat was very, very good with just one-shotting cleave units. It's going to be kind of a down and dirty style. At least that's what people are predicting. I still don't know if Revelation is going to be completely irrelevant. So if people are unprepared for Revelation, I think they're still going to have a hard time with Revelation. So that's another one. So a character that could have a possibility, especially if the meta ends up being as slow as we think, is this Tsutomu guy. Uh, the landing of the debuffs to take care of his, always critting, I don't know how this is going to pan out. I don't know how easy that's going to be. Uh, there's plenty of bruisers out there like Rahu and Holden, even the Mizuki Makoto that we just talked about that have debuffs in their kit. The resistance attack down, uh, Rahu has defense down, which also gets applied at a higher clip now. So it might be easier to trigger this passive than I thought, but his his skill 3 has very high damage multipliers. And it's also a 100% chance to inflict a 2-turn wound and block. This is very big. If you build him on count, anytime count procs, he's going to be healing back up. Now, it's whether or not that he can survive, the initial iced proc from Tiamat. If iced and amber ends up becoming, more of the dedicated build for Tiamat. Tiamat can be built in a lot of things. She was just built in Bloodbath Lighthouse because of the Revelation meta. So I don't know how that's going to shift. But him being of the right element, along with bringing very useful debuffs within this meta, yeah, this is quite interesting. He really has a bad matchup against Holden for sure, but Holden also has his counters as well. Not as much as the rest, but there are some viable options to take down Holden. Then okay, so those are like the one rare and the two SRs that are viable. Then you start getting into the SSRs, which are very lattice hungry, but I actually think Hoyan got uh, a bit of a value boost as well, even though she was already good. Like she was great against the cleave meta because she has that soul ward ability where she just stops death, kills someone really easily, and then revives one of the characters that probably got one shot or went down on the second revelation proc and revives them. So she's already good. I think she's going to be solid. But she does have a skill 1 wound effect. Now, it's difficult to try and build a damage dealer on effect accuracy. I understand that. But this is a double hitter. And the double hitters with that two instances of the 25% chance to land wound, I think you can build her, a little bit differently. The fact that Golden Lion has also been buffed as well. I, this is one of the reasons why I wanted the Revelation kind of nerfed. Now, this is all theory, right? It could eventually end up just being two types of things, like a bruiser and a crowd control, and that's the entire meta, and it'll be really boring. But knowing that there are other shells now that have some viability because it's not just whoever goes first, right? Whoever went first uses the revelation procs, nukes you down. If you can survive with the bloodbath and lighthouse, okay, you probably win. Uh, Crowd control, this isn't a turn one thing, but if you go first, if you have enough effect accuracy to strip immunities from Ling Luos or whatever, or push back the Doki Dokis, game over. But now you have stuff like Golden Lion, where you're increasing Hoyan's damage over time. She's reviving your characters, and her effect accuracy goes up drastically. Like Golden Lion can put up 75% effect accuracy. So even if you don't build her with any effect accuracy, there is a possibility that she ends up being able to just scale up over time uh, to to eventually be landing these wounds. Now, of course, the issue is she needs to have some more support. You won't be able to run her on count because you're running her on Golden Lion, but that's kind of just theory crafting. Um, but uh, for future, maybe people end up building just a little bit of effect accuracy to try and get these wounds off. Now, the two amazing characters that end up having this debuff, one is Mio. I think Mio, man, is going to be one of the top picks to counter bruiser metas. I mean, she does two things, right? She does the crowd control and she also lands the wound. Like just an amazing character in this upcoming meta, I think. She's very lattice hungry for sure, but she also comes with the speed up, turn meter steal. So if you don't have bulwark on your heroes, then yeah, it's gonna get nasty. So she is fantastic for the crowd control kind of squads that are going to go in there against the bruiser teams, which uh, the bruiser teams do need their counters still. But I think they might be running Alicorn a little bit more. They still might run a Lighthouse Bloodbath and just go really high effect resistance, which is something that a lot of the top players have been doing. The issue is the game has been a little bit bugged in regards to how effect resistance works with effect accuracy. Uh, the rumor is that Opal has been landing all of his stuns, even though his effect accuracy is way less than the effect res of some of the characters. Same thing with Kazuya the Reverie. It's a little harder to tell because she's got a triple hitter um, with the attack and sleep, where this guy's stun, even though it's a triple hitter, it's only a 30% chance. It's just a little bit weird. But yeah, it's still something possible. Now, the hero that I think people are going to be seeing a lot more of is Heinrich. Now, this guy is going to be so important for Cleve because he is quick. He's going to be your lead hero to go in there and strip and land the wounds, right? If he can do that, your cleavers are still going to have the capability to go in and get around the lighthouse heal. Now, the enemies are still going to have the turn meter boost, right, from lighthouse. So if they're running their Ling Luos, if they're running their Sonyas, their Mios, their Mias, they still have the ability to kind of cut in front, push back, maybe cleanse the wound with the Ling Luo or whatever. But it could be enough for Cleve to still get the job done. But I you're really going to have to be able to draft smart to get Heinrich in that third spot and then also have your Cleve units around. I think it's going to be tough to do. He's going to be more relevant in the ETH arena, I think, taking down the tank teams with Cleve like that. But this guy's value, I think, has completely skyrocketed. I don't know how people are going to build him. I don't think you're going to see him built on Revelation. You might see him built on Count just to do like some pretty decent chip damage while also applying the wounds and the blocks. His kit is very good, and he can be a good damage dealer while being built with a little bit of effect accuracy still. But I think he's got a lot of value in regards to um, how you can switch around his builds a lot. I think he can still be running Revelation. I think he can be just a fast stripper to enable cleave, and then I think he can be a sub DPS with landing, some really relevant debuffs. Uh, I'd like to see him run on count too, just to have a little bit of sustain and really make these uh these wound debuffs hurt over time because this is on a 3-turn cooldown and the wound is for 2 turns. Uh so and it's an AoE. So that's pretty interesting. Anyway, I just wanted to make a little video talking about those characters because I was really excited thinking about, how much value wound has gone up since the nerf to Revelation because I do think the bruiser meta is going to be a thing. But I also think that the player base and some of these top arena players are certainly going to find a way around it. This is kind of just my take, but we'll see how it pans out. Anyway, guys, that's all I got. If you're enjoying the new patch, let me know down below. And as always, I appreciate you watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. See you.